part of the icy North Atlantic. These measurements tell him how much icy cold water is sinking and how quickly. It's an excellent indicator of the Great Ocean Conveyor's state of health.
The research we're doing here in the Labrador Sea is crucial to making much better predictions about the effects of the changes in the ocean conveyor belt on climate.
They're here to launch a sea glider. This high-tech torpedo measures the salinity and temperature of the Labrador Sea. Bogue hopes this new technology will allow them to finally answer the question, is the Great Ocean Conveyor shutting down? The scientists are at the mercy of the weather, which sometimes means working at night. They must launch the sea glider in deep water, which means operating 40 miles from the coast. They launch the glider and watch it disappear into the pitch-black North Atlantic. Their work reveals something about this part of the conveyor that we didn't want to hear.
Deep water is not being formed as fast. So the thing that drives the ocean conveyor belt, the driving force, is actually not present as strongly as it has been in the past.
Bogue is concerned that changes in the Great Ocean Conveyor could take place in a relatively short period of time.
Significant changes could take place in timescales of decades, tens of years, 10, 20, 30 years, certainly within a scale of a normal human lifetime.
Bogue is not the only one concerned. Researchers from the National Oceanography Center in Southampton, England, have been studying water flow in the Atlantic over the last 50 years. Their studies show that until 2004, the ocean conveyor stayed constant, but then it suddenly changed and slowed down. They too believe that ice melting from global warming could shut down the ocean conveyor. Their frightening prediction is that in the next 20 years, the temperatures of Britain and continental Europe will become more like parts of Canada. Temperatures could drop up to 10 degrees. In winter, it could fall to more than 30 degrees below freezing. If they are right, this could mean catastrophe. Crops will fail. People will starve. And this would be just the start. As temperatures plunge below zero, cities like London, England are thrown into chaos. There are power outages. Drinking water supplies freeze. Soon public transportation fails. Cars won't start. Roads become covered with snow and ice. Only people with snowmobiles can get around. Because the human body cannot survive in temperatures below -30 without specialist survival clothes, anyone caught outside freezes to death. Roads and rivers become impassable. The city slowly becomes entombed in snow and ice. Buildings start to crumble and collapse under the weight. Eventually, the city dies, and society is pushed to the edge of oblivion. It's not a very optimistic vision of the future. So just how likely is it that such a freeze will strike? We may experience a short-term cooling brought about by volcanic eruptions, which could trigger wars and famine. But it could be something much bigger. Some scientists now believe there is a 50% chance that the ocean conveyor will shut down in the next 100 years. This may bring about radical changes in global weather patterns. There could be violent storms and flooding. There will also be some dramatic cooling in parts of North America, Britain, and Europe.
The folks right around the North Atlantic, it would be really cold in the winter, and you would probably see the British buying a lot of snowplows.
chances are our climate will be far more violent than our peaceful one today. It will no longer be stable and could catapult the planet into a big freeze. A freeze that may change the world as we know it forever.